It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another unboxing, and this week we have the RG35XX Pro. Yes, you're right. There is no wheel of review to begin, and that's because this unit just came out just a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to get this to you right away. So, without further ado, let's find out what we get in the box right after this. Hey fam, Swatitu Konkra Pinik here, and it's time to dig into the RG35XX Pro. Now you'll notice that I did get a branded case with my device. You can choose to get the case or not. It's usually about $5 to $10 separate, or if you get it on AliExpress, you have the option of having it bundled together. But again, you do pay that extra price up front. Just wanted to show that off because it is kind of a nice little case to keep your device nice and safe, along with being able to keep your charger there with you at all times. So nice little case there for it. Let's crack open this RG35XX Pro, see how it compares to the Zoo 10 and the other devices that I have recently reviewed. So let's, of course, as always, we have the device inside of a bag protecting it, and I appreciate that. A much longer cable than we got with the Zoo 10. Of course, it's still USB-A to USB-C, so you can, again, use your old school charger from 15 years ago, plug it into a USB port on your computer, or if you have a wall outlet with a USB-A port on it, those will usually charge at the appropriate speed. If you use your phone charger, it either will not charge or it will harm your device. So make sure you don't use your phone's fast charger. Of course, Anbernic is really good at giving nice manuals, so I always appreciate their manuals in English and in Chinese because, of course, they are a Chinese company. And just to double check if there's anything under the tray, no, nothing under the tray. I kind of wish they would have given us a screen protector, but, you know, it is what it is for a device that's right under $50. So I'm not going to complain about getting a lack of screen protector for that price, just as a nice added bonus as usual. So we lift up our box, and as you can see, I got the teal green. I like to get different colored devices for these videos because I want to keep things interesting for everyone. So there we go, got a nice transparent green. You can see all of the USB ports up here. You can see the nice little tag from Anbernic. And one of the nice things that I like immediately right off the cuff is you can see how the controls are even different from the Zoo 10. The Zoo 10 was nice because they were a little bit raised. These are really raised to make it easy to play with the R2 and L2 buttons, at least at first try. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll have to find out. Let's flip over this device. We still have a 3.5-inch screen that is 640 by 480, so great for the retro games. Inside, because it is an XX model, it does have the H700 processor with the G31 Mali GPU and 1 gigabyte of RAM. It does have sticks, whereas previously this device did not have sticks. The non-Pro versions did not have sticks. And it does come with a 64 gigabyte card installed right there. And then you have your secondary card slot over here for your own cards and putting your own game. It does include Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz band as well as the 5 gigahertz band of Wi-Fi. So great connection there. Bluetooth 4.2, so you'll be able to connect the different things to it. Wow, these buttons, I'm just noticing, have a very smooth feel to them, much different than the textured ones that I had on the previous devices. Let's take a look at what else we have here. We have the HDMI port here. We have 3.5 millimeter headphone jack here, and we have DC charging as well as OTG in one port. So some will like that, some won't like that because it's using the same port versus the Zoo 10, for example, had 2 ports. But at least we can go to TV to consoleize our device if we want to, and then we can also charge it at the same time to keep our game sessions as long as possible. Our speaker is a downward firing speaker that's definitely different than the others. I know it looks like a speaker would be here, but actually the speaker is here. Along this side, we've already seen the main SD card slot, and we have the volume up and down rocker. Flip it over here. We have our power and reset button, which again feels much more natural to have it up here, but it is very flush with the device. That means that it's not poking out, so you have to consciously push in to do that. Wow, these buttons are not very clicky. A little clicky, but not bad. So I appreciate that. And this is your function button, basically, but I like that. Again, you still have your clicky R3 and L3 with good Switch style sticks, so I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get it started. Let's see what it looks like when you get it started up. The nice little Anbernic logo. Let me know down in the comment section below. Would you have gone for the white? That's an opaque, solid white. Black, again, a solid, opaque black. Or would you have gone for this transparent teal color? I'm really digging the smooth face buttons on this. It looks like the ABXY buttons are painted underneath the gloss, so should make for an interesting section here. Again, you can tell they love their sound effects. And I always found it interesting they call it game rooms, not game ROMs, but you know, every company has their own bit here. Of course, you do have your app center. Oh yeah, I have to go over here, A to select. So you can put your own music on here. You can put MP4s on here, ebooks if you want to read some ebooks. You have a file manager. Because you do have the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, you do support Willy Willy for remote play from your PC. You do have PDF, so if you, again, reading books or PDFs, you can do that on the go with no issues. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's go to our game rooms, as it were, of course. The nice thing is because the XX devices all use the same internals, I can almost guarantee there's already custom firmware for this, even though it's only been out for about a week and a half at this point. Again, I had to wait for mine to be shipped from China, but I do like that keeps the customizability factor really high on these devices. Now you can, of course, play Game Boy Advance games on here. You're going to have a little bit smaller screen because this is 4:3 and Game Boy Advance is 3:2, so you'll have some bars on the screen. Same thing for the widescreen games. You can play 16:9 content that is native there, of course. You just get some bars on your screen just like you would if you remember playing a widescreen movie on the TVs from 30 years ago. So likewise, you can do that. And this also doesn't support Nintendo DS. It'll either be a split screen, one screen, or you can have it flip between the two screens. But notice this is not a touch screen. Some DS games required access to the touch screen, so you would lose the functionality of that game from not being able to have that. PlayStation 1. And again, this is just the included software. You get the first Gran Turismo, Grand Theft Auto 2, Ridge Racer. Everyone loves Ridge Racer. I've never been a big fan of the Resident Evil old school controls. They were too tank-like for me, but I know some people love them. I love the newer games for that. But all in all, for included on this classic game, you can even play SimCity 2000. So let's go back. PSP, I can almost guarantee we're going to have God of War on here because everyone loves God of War, and of course Ridge Racer. Let's try Ridge Racer. Again, now PSP is a 16:9 screen, so this will kind of show you what the bars look like whenever you get your screen if it zooms in, but it looks like it's cropped in to the screen, which is kind of interesting. Okay, give you a little game to play. Yeah, new game, why not? Sure. Now, I would definitely recommend that you load your own ROMs on here. They're going to generally be better quality than what's included. But again, for a plug and play device, this gets you up and running, no issues right away. I do like the size of the D-pad, just feels appropriate. Yeah, go ahead and turn on autosave. Good, World Tour. I'm loving how these buttons here on the back, the shoulder buttons, are feeling. The raised nature of it really gives you a better feel for it, and it makes it easy if I want to push R1 to use this knuckle, whereas I can use the tip of my finger to be able to play R2, L2 buttons. So it's really feeling good so far. I'd have to admit that this is a lot less clicky than most Anbernic devices, which is a big plus because for a lot of people, that's probably the biggest concern for a lot of Anbernic devices is the clicky nature. Cool. So yeah, it looks like they're cropping in. There we go. I remember having this whenever I bought my original PSP because I've always liked sports games and racing games, and I am doing terribly. There we go. Forgot my buttons there. For a game that came on the UMD discs of the original PSP, I have to admit it looks pretty darn good. What do you think of how the picture quality looks? I think they found a really high quality IPS screen for this device, and again, for under $50 for something you can throw in your bag and go whenever you need to. Not too bad. There we go. Finally get some turns good. So first blush, I think that this is a great little device. I'm going to enjoy playing with this over the next few days before I get you my review on Friday for this. In the meantime, let me know if you have any questions about this. If you want to see me try any specific games, I can try to do some B-roll of some games that are recommended or requested. But I'm really digging how this looks. I wish they'd used regular Phillips head cross-style screws instead of these Torx screws to just make it easy if I wanted to get inside the device. But how often am I going to really get in the device? The one thing I would probably want to do is maybe put a sticker on the back side of that or something to personalize it. But I'm sure I can get stickers for the front of this as well already on Etsy because Etsy really loves Anbernic devices. So again, let me know what you'd like to see on the full-blown review, and I'll try to get it out to you. And until next time, this has been Penic.